Let's get into it. Let's go for it. This is gonna. I'm excited for this one. This is gonna be really funny. All right, playing Leproso, a classic matchup between Taiwan and Argentina. So we're gonna start with f4, and yeah, some things in life literally never change. I did not lower the volume. Okay, here we go. Here we go. It's time to go. Knight f3. So our opponent's playing the copycat. The copycat system is known to be a bit. It's decent. It's unusual. I recently beat Christopher Yu, of all people, in the copycat variation. Not sure what my opponent is up to with knight h6. We're gonna play d3 and e4. Gonna throw the pawn up to e4. Get the really healthy pawns on e4 and f4. That is the goal of the. That is the goal of the bird, after all. My opponent plays d5. d5, very interesting move. Going for a clamp on the e4 square. So yeah, the drawback to the stonewall, so he's more or less going for a stonewall setup here. Normally the stonewall is characterized by pawns on e6, c6, d5, and f5. The drawback to it is that there's this enormous gaping weakness here on the e5 square. I'm going to start by trading off on e4. Should I start by trading off? Actually, let's just go for the fianchetto. The bishop is going to shoot daggers out here on b2. And here we are, we're waiting. My opponent is playing the classic knights on the rim variation. Knights on a6 and h6. I don't think I've ever seen that before. This is, by the way, for those who are wondering, this is my first ever speed run. I'm very I'm very excited, as you can tell. Okay, going for some sneaky tricks here. He wants to dig the knight into e3. Honestly, my opponent is playing much better than I would expect an 100 to play. He's playing with serious logic, serious rationality. All right, yeah. That at this point his setup at this point his setup boils over into the irrational. That doesn't make any sense. Should I dig the knight out? There's really no reason to dig the knight out, but it's a little annoying. I don't want to kick it back to this good square though on f6, but I guess I have to. I'm gonna play h3, boot the knight out, and then install my knight over on this d4 square where it's hitting b5, where it's hitting c6, where it's hitting f5. I want to just be able to play e4 at the proper moment. I'm honestly going to need to look into what to do here, because he should have been losing this way quicker. I don't think I executed my advantage to the utmost efficiency here. All right, and we're waiting. This is the famous rapid speed run. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna love this speedrun though, honestly, because I'm thinking about it. I love just going on monologues, and I love just shooting the breeze and not really paying any attention to the position. And this is gonna give me tons of downtime to just shoot the breeze, relax, have a pina colada, chill by the pool. All right, we're waiting here. I don't understand what the confusion is. There's only one score on the board that would make any sense, and that's knight f6. Maybe he's afraid of me taking, but I don't really believe in that. I can't say I honestly believe in that. This is a wild position. What is going on here? I ask you, okay, I mean, I really want to be clear. Have you ever seen any position like this? Ever in your entire life? I don't think I have. Because up until recently, I never played the bird, so if I hadn't been playing the bird, I would never get a position like this. Yeah, comes to think of it, there was one time I just thought it would be cool to play the bird in like a classical game. This was like 10 years ago in a tournament I was playing in college up in Montreal, Canada. It was like the Quebec Open, and I believe it was the first round. And for some reason, I just played the bird. I did not know what I was doing. I got a very bad position. It was against like a 2000, but I ended up winning. So there you go. The moral of the story: the bird always carries some venom. Yeah, this guy is really running out his clock. It's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go. I'm gonna need to write down like topics of conversation to just to just ruminate about in these in these spare moments. Because, all right, we got the win. Plus 8 points. I got 8 points for that. Are you kidding me? Oh man, this is gonna take so long. This is literally gonna take. I don't even want to describe how long this is gonna take. This speed run is gonna take an enormous amount of time. All right, so they play c4. We're gonna play f5. We're gonna play the Leningrad Dutch. Yeah, I'm thinking about it now. If we're only going up 8 points a game, this is gonna take forever. I want to get to 2,500. 8 points, 2,500 over 8. That's 300 games I would have to play. Each game would take normally at least like 5 minutes or so. So that's gonna be 1,500 minutes, which is what, over 60? That's 25. Yeah, 25 hours. 25 hours of speedruns coming up. And that's assuming I win every single game, which is not guaranteed. So our opponent plays Queen A4. What is he doing? What is this? What's going on here? You should not do this. This is a clear recipe of what not to do in the opening. Do not move your queen out and just keep bouncing it around the board. He's just going to be giving me free moves. Here, I immediately attack his queen. Yeah, I'm just going to keep attacking his queen, honestly. I feel like I could play e5 as well, and e5 might be correct as well, but we got to just start getting those easy points. I could play knight d4 here. Is he going to keep running away? What position is this? What position is this? I've never seen anything like this in my life. All right, Queen A4. He just keeps running around. He's the golden boy that keeps on running. What is going on here? It's just the strangest position. I'm gonna play E5. I want to gain more of the center. I have the classic golden knights on E4 and D4. What is he doing? What is this man doing? Okay, I got a neat trick here. I want to hit him with bishop B4. The idea is queen takes, I'm going to get a knight fork on c2. But at the moment, if I play bishop b4, he takes on e5. So I'm just going to play b5 first, let him take the pawn, and then play bishop b4. Okay, well that can't be good. I could take here. I could also play knight c2. I'm realizing now I could have played knight c2 a move earlier, but I was too lost in the sauce. All right. Now the big question is, does he know that any of his other pieces exist on the board? Because I don't think he does. He's been moving his queen around nonstop. All right, we're going to take with check. Yeah, I was not prepared for this level of play. Like the guy who played the first game played very well. If this is what I'm going to have to play against for a few hundred points, this is going to be shocking. It's going to be jarring. To be clear, I'm not trying to be condescending or be rude or trash talk down to anyone. I definitely played like this back when I was a kid and learning the game. But it's literally been like 30 years since I've played chess at this level. Maybe not 30 years technically because I'm 30 years old, but close. Okay, nice. We got the win. 116. Time to load up another game. Playing Legend. Is that from Costa Rica? Costa Rica. I know the flags, people. Yeah, I'm realizing now I was going off into a monologue about Taiwan. I've been to China several times. I really am looking forward to going to Taiwan, and so hence I chose the Taiwanese flag. I've been working a lot on my Mandarin lately, and yeah, I have this whole plan. Originally I wanted to be professionally fluent in 10 languages, but I think that would be too tough, and it would just make me it would be too high an opportunity cost. I wouldn't be able to really achieve much else with my life. I do think it's possible though. But so my new, more conservative goal is to be completely fluent in 5 foreign languages, which are Portuguese, French, Turkish. Turkish is a very interesting language. My father's Turkish. I always wanted to learn it. And Mandarin and Russian. So those are the 5. Those are the fast 5, and of course I would also be speaking English. All right, so our opponent he gifted us a free pawn here, and he moved his queen over to e7. Whenever they move their queen off the starting square here, I like to look and see if we can strike in the center somewhere with our knights. And it turns out that now this pawn has been weakened here by his queen move. So let's go straight for the jugular, and that is not what I meant. We're going to attack d5. All right, nice. Scooping up the apple. Fantastic. I'm really liking the speed run. Big shout out to whoever's idea this was. This is much more calm, chill chess. What is that? All right. All right, we take the queen. We take the queen, we're moving up. All right, 124. That first game, the guy who played that first game was much better than before. Much better than the last 2. e3, okay, let's play d5. Bring our pawns up into the center, e5, d5. I'm realizing now I should have probably played f5 to be in line with the Dutch, but honestly, I'm seeing moves I haven't seen in like 10 years here with like e3 move 1. Very, very rare. Okay, knight c3, he's attacking our pawn on d5. We're going to respond with knight f6. Just defending the pawn. Okay, and he has ignored our defense, and we're going to snatch up the steed. We're taking the lost steed. The steed on d5 is gone. Now here is a tricky part, though. If we move the knight, there could be some type of checkmate there. So we've got to be a little careful. We'll move the bishop in opposition with their bishop. Everything stable. Everything good for the moment. Okay, d4. We could always take here. That would be completely fine. In general, though, my style is a dominating style. I want them to suffocate. I don't want their pieces to get out. That's always been the style of my chess. And for that purpose, I do not want to trade this pawn, because if we trade this pawn here, then the bishop gets out. So instead, we're going to play knight c6. No trades today, Buster. All right. Things are looking aces here. This is a really fine position. Okay. We could play knight takes e3. Knight takes e3 is always an interesting idea. He takes on e6, and then I'd have some types of tactics with knight c2. Yeah, that works actually. I didn't think it works at first. That's when I started my sentence. I didn't think it works. But actually, the idea is takes. We take on c2 with check. They play king d1. They're threatening mate in that position, so we would have to take back. But then they cannot take our knight on pain of knight d4. So that definitely looks like it works. That definitely looks like it works. Yeah, we're gonna go for it. We're going for it. Get ready, everybody. What was I asking? I asked them literally to set my rating to the lowest possible. I should have asked for like 400 or something. These games are really these games against 100s are too much. Yeah, it's honestly, I have not played against people at this level for so long. It's very interesting that, like at this level, you get so many people with so many different huge strategic shortcomings. Like the first guy didn't blunder so much, but what did he do? The first guy didn't blunder so much, but instead he just didn't really know how to develop. Then the next guy just moved his queen out. Like you get all these different, you see all these different, very incorrect playing styles. Like random deviations just in one direction of playing. Like one guy just knew how to move his queen around and was just playing with his queen only. The other guy just liked moving his knights on the edge. All right, we're waiting. It's time to go. Getting the queen. Getting the queen. I think that there should be some sort of checkmate coming. King e4, yeah, he's going to be in trouble. I think check, check, king e2, and then check and check on d3 should be mate. That's a really cool one. Look at this. Yeah, we're going to check on c5. Then king goes back to e2. We check on e4. Oh, they can block with the bishop. I didn't notice they could block with the bishop. Blocking with the bishop, that would be quite serious. Let's play queen e4. If the king goes back, queen d3 will mate. Okay, he blocks. He knows what's up. We're going to hit him with a check. Probably play queen c2, maybe knight c2 check. Yeah, the game should still be over here. Yeah, okay, so check. King goes back, and that's going to be mate. All right, so we're making our way up. We got 4 wins. I assume 4 wins. Nice. We got 4 wins, and we're on to game number 5. Playing No Man 33. Let's see what happens here. No Man 33, what's going on? Okay, our first Fromm's Gambit. Is he gonna know what to do? Is he gonna know the second move? I'm wondering at what rating we hit the first actual Fromm's Gambit that someone like had learned and knew how to play. Okay, so he does not know the Fromm's Gambit. Here you do need to be a bit careful here. I've made the mistake as well of playing d4 and then they hit you with queen h4 check and you're dropping a really important pawn. So do not really watch out for that. We're going to just play knight f3 here to defend the pawn. d5. We could definitely take, but I prefer to keep my pawn here. Because with the pawn there, if we take, we're sort of transposing back into the Fromm's Gambit. And, you know, as much trash as I talk about the Fromm's Gambit, it is a much better opening than whatever this is. So we're going to leave this pawn here. We're going to keep digging into the square so that the knight cannot get out. We're going to play d4. It's time to go. Bishop g4. Okay, he is playing aggressive. He wants to take and then play queen h4. Queen h4 would be check. So there are a few ways around this. First of all, if they take here and we take with the pawn, queen h4, king d2, that position, as dangerous as it looks, that would actually be completely fine for us if our pawn is on c3. And the reason for that is that then we would have a very stable center. All the files remotely close to our king would be closed. They wouldn't be ahead in development, and we would have like 2 extra pawns in the center pretty much on the e-file. So that would be completely fine. Another way to handle it would be bishop e3, but I really want to illustrate this point though. c3, this is a very nice point. And I made this mistake in the past where I just haven't gone for this because I didn't like the look of king d2, and then I would check it with the engine, and it turns out that, lo and behold, white is just completely winning after queen h4 check and king d2. All right, we're waiting. It's time to go. I would assume he's going to take on... Okay, he's not going to take on f3. Instead, he is pushing a pawn. We can just take the pawn. Nothing to worry about there. No, 132. It's going to be forever. Guys, 132, it's going to take a very long time. All right, so f6. F6 is a good move. Just on principle, I do not want to take here. I do not want to let his knight get into the game. I feel like that's what he's been playing for this whole time. He wants his knight to get out to F6, and I just keep on telling him, no, sir. No, you're not getting out to F6. That's not going to happen, buddy. Let's play bishop H4. Keep the pressure on. Keep the stove on. Keep the pot of soup cooking. It's really time to go. It's time to go. B5. B5 is wacky. B5, that should not be good. I guess, yeah, when people see the bird, they just have no idea what to do. I'm going to play E3. I'm going to try to cash in some chips on B5. My bishops are looking tremendous. My bishops are really looking glorious here. I'm going to have one slicing through here, the other slicing through here. This is like an old school New York slice. This position looks fantastic. Got a nice center, 2 extra pawns, some good bishops. Bishops brimming with brilliance. And, yeah, this really nothing could be the matter here. Okay, we'll take. Yeah, and not only is the bishop pin good here, but because he's lost this B pawn, this pin is unbelievably uncomfortable now. This ain't looking good for him, people. Okay, queen A4, just doubling up the pressure here. It's time to go. I'll take. Yeah, this is looking very ugly. If he plays king C8, I can take on A8. If he plays king E6, I could of course take the rook. But, you know, as most of you know, I play for checkmate. I play to win. So I'll play C4 here. I want to keep the attack going with some takes check, push those pawns forward. The king is in no man's land here, and based on how many squares my bishop is hitting, it's at least as valuable as that rook in this position. Takes, king E7, we got a really beautiful checkmate on F6. Classic Brazilian bird parade is in full swing here. King F5. King F5 could be interesting. Okay, he goes there, and that is checkmate. Very nice. We're up to 140. We are up to 140. We're playing Wings Key from Saudi Arabia. Cool. All right, D4. This is the first queen pawn we've seen yet. D4, F5. What's going to happen here? Every single one of these 100 players, you see something and then something really quickly goes wrong. This is the most normal opening we've seen yet. This is 2 moves of opening theory. 95, okay, and now we're out of theory. So far the record is 2 moves. 2 moves of theory before people start playing interesting, unorthodox things. Yeah, this knight move would make sense if I couldn't kick it with D6, but I can't kick it with D6, so it doesn't make sense. Knight C4, I really want to just keep kicking the knight around the board. Let's play B5, the knight will go to E3, and then I'll play F4. And the knight, I believe the knight is trapped there. Knight A5. Knights are not good on the rim. I was taught that back in primary school. Let's play C5 here, attacking the knight. I wonder if he's going to see that we're attacking the knight. Because normally when you play a move like this, their focus immediately comes to what happens if they take the pawn. Alright, he's running away. We're going to keep expanding though. This position looks brilliant. He has to run to D2. And after that, look at that. Guys, can you see the moves? Yeah, look at those moves. Literally, the past 6 moves have been this knight. I'm seeing chess that I literally haven't played chess like this in 20 years. It's crazy. Bishop B7. Bishop comes and scopes a very long diagonal. Scoping out G2 and H1. All right, he's bringing a new knight out. A second soldier has entered the fray. I'm gonna attack this knight now. Okay, that's not good. That blunders a piece. As depressing as it was, he had to play knight b1. So b3, I'll just take. This looks so uncomfortable for him. Play knight c6. Knight will come to b4. I want to put my knight on b4, implant the bishop on e4, and crash through on c2 with a glorious attack. Okay, well now knight b4 drops the pawn on c3, so perhaps I should play knight e4. Knight e4 covers c3. It also obstructs the queen from taking that pawn on f5, which it was eyeing. Alright, so all in all, everything is looking up. Things are looking up. Okay, knight b4, queen b5. Things are getting a little tricky here. This guy's only using 2 of his pieces, but he's using them quite well. Where should my pieces go? If I play queen b6, knight d5 could be annoying. Queen b6, knight d5 could be annoying, but I would take on d4. I think that position should be completely winning, honestly. Also, knight d5, I can play queen a5. Maybe I should have just played queen d7 to defend this, though. But if he takes here, then I can play knight b4. And my bishop would be defending the knight. Yeah, this would be completely winning. This has to be completely winning. Okay, knight b4. Hitting the queen, hitting the pawn. Something bad is a-coming here. Queen goes back to d1. I'll kick the knight out. Play bishop g7. And have 2 laser-focused bishops scoping the board. Yeah, this guy definitely was playing more... I was about to say he was playing more coherently, but he just dropped the queen. So I don't think I can give him that compliment any longer. I'll snatch the queen. I'll take the bishop. I'm taking the whole house. It's time to go. For whatever reason he plays king d1, I will take the pawn on f2 with checkmate. Okay. I guess that's how the game ends. So, 148. I want to play one more game just to make it to 150. Yeah, I would assume that as we rise the ranks, the games are going to get way more interesting. Just the first 100 points, the first 300 or 400 points is going to be like this. All right? Oh, man, I was hoping to get the forfeit win. All right, we got a classic Dutch, bishop g5. That is theory. Impressive. Impressive, sir. g6 will play bishop g7, knight f6. Yeah, bishop g5 is a very sneaky move. The idea is that they want to just play bishop takes when we put the knight on f6, and our structure is going to be very ugly there, whichever way we take back, whether with the g-pawn or with the e-pawn. So the purpose of g6 is to prevent that. We're going to play bishop g7, and only after that play knight f6 when we can always recapture in a much more healthy manner with the bishop. It's time to go. g3. All right, that's not technically theory, but he's still playing very rational, coherent chess. This is very interesting to me. Just as you rise the ranks, you start to notice that our people are playing more and more coherently. Even the difference between 100 and 150 points is noticeable. That guy has an extremely Georgian name. I never went to Georgia, believe it or not. I've always wanted to go. All their names end in Ili or Adze. Very cool place from what I hear. I've been to Armenia, their neighbor, twice, but never Georgia. Bishop h3. Okay, that is his first opening mistake. He's moving a bishop twice. There is no need to do that. I really love in these situations when the bishop is shooting at the knight, but there has not yet been a pin established. We got this pawn buffering it. I love in these situations to play knight e4. Hit their bishop. Just push their bishop right out. Some people don't even notice that we're attacking the bishop here, because the knight, from their perspective, we're just moving the knight forward. They don't realize that now the knight is looking backward at the bishop. It's time to go. It's really time to go. Okay, knight f3. He did notice. We could play h6 here, which would be interesting, but it's generally a good idea when you're playing the Leningrad and when you have such a good bishop. Long term, if you can get rid of their enemy bishop, that's rarely ever a bad idea. Let's take. Now they're going to take back, and their knight is going to be in the firing line of our queen. And then we can hit them with the good stuff. We're going to play e5, attacking their center, but more importantly, revealing an attack on that knight on g5. I feel like I'm going to do a lot more of these speed runs. This is some of the most peaceful, just tranquil chess I've ever done. Who knew that when you played games with absolutely no risk of losing, they would be funner and more peaceful? All right, knight h4. That is not a good move. He should have taken my knight on g5. I'm going to take here. Keep picking up the house. Okay, he's taken that. I take. I am up 3 pieces here. It's time to go. Yeah, this game, he started off quite well. I was expecting us to play like a lot of theory based on the way he started. He played very good moves and then all of a sudden just started giving me pieces. Interesting stuff. You know what's crazy? The fact that he did not take my knight back. The fact that he did not take my knight back after I took here means there's a chance that maybe he just didn't see that I was threatening the bishop and his move just happened to defend the bishop inadvertently. All right, the guy plays queen d3. He's going for all the glory. Where should I go here? Just play knight c6, just develop more pieces. I'm going to attack this pawn. I'm going to maybe try to bring a knight out to b4 to hit c2 and d3. If he plays c3 here, that would be a good idea, but then I'll play e5 and just really insist on the position opening up. It's time to go. It's really time to go. Oh, okay, let's take. Snatch the pawn on d4. Okay, and we got the queen. Perfect. We got the queen. It's time to go. Knight d5. I could take on b2, but probably it's better to take here with check. King has to move. Yeah, the game's been over for like 20 moves. I'm just trying to clean up the remnants of the position. And get a quick checkmate here. There's really very little to discuss. The chess speaks for itself. Knight moves back somewhere. We could play queen b6, queen e3. He's running out of pieces. I'm going to throw in a check. No, actually, no. I can't play it. Throwing in the check technically is incorrect. They could block with the knight. I'll just take the knight. He's going to take the bishop. I'll take back. Okay. The guy is fighting. He's not clicking the resign button, so I do commend him. I definitely commend him on that. Queen b6 will defend the knight. Just playing stable, normal chess. All right, and he is out of pieces. It's time to go. It's really time to go. take here. Gonna throw the queen to d4 and go for checkmate on h1. All right, queen d4 stopped. He played a very good move there with c3. But alas, he is still down a queen, 2 rooks, a bishop, and 3 pawns. So it's just a bit too much for him. He plays king c1, and finally the game can be finished with rook h1, checkmate. All right, nice. Okay, so we are going to end this edition of the speedrun here. We're at 150. It's definitely going to be a tall climb up. I'm thinking about it. This is going to take forever. This is going to be like a 50-day speedrun. If 30 minutes, if it takes me 30 minutes to get from 100 to 150, this is going to take forever, guys. So stay tuned. Y'all asked for the rapid speedrun, and I'm giving you the rapid speedrun. This is what it's all about. This is NBA basketball. All right, it's time to go. I got to go. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you, and take care.